still very sketchy circumstances, but what is happening at the moment from the information that we were able to gather is that 170 people are being held hostage by at least 2 gunmen inside the Radisson Hotel. So that's a luxury hotel in the business area of the capital city, Bamako. It all happened early this morning around 7 o'clock. What is unclear is how these gunmen got into the hotel compound. There are reports that suggest that they were driving a car that showed a diplomatic plate, which would suggest that, excuse me, which would suggest that they managed to get in without perhaps encountering any kind of problem. Other reports suggest that they basically drive, forcing their way through the security barrier at the Radisson Hotel, which obviously would tell us a very different kind of story. At the moment, we know that a shootout happened earlier. We don't know whether that's still ongoing or not, but security forces definitely exchanged a fire with the gunmen who are holed up in one of the floors of the hotel at the moment. We also know that French troops are being deployed to the area. Remember that the French have been very active leading a military campaign 2 years ago in northern Mali, and they are still deployed in the country at the moment, and so they will they are meant to be on the ground as I speak, helping the security forces try to get a grip on the situation, which is very unclear for now.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas, the Islamist rebels who were fighting against the Tuareg rebels, of course, not so long ago. What is their, if you like, their core strength within Mali now? Is this the sort of way in which they can make a mark? Because at one point, of course, they were taking vast swathes of territory.
Yes, exactly. Remember back in January 2013 when the French intervened, the reason behind their intervention was to stop the advance of these jihadi groups that you've just talked about, because they had taken over the northern region for nearly 10 months, and we're talking about 2/3 of the country. Now the French and their military campaign managed to break the backbone, if you will, of those jihadi groups, but they haven't been able to flush them out, to drive them out completely of northern Mali, and you have pockets of groups, pockets of jihadi activity that remain here and there. The French are still active, patrolling, carrying out operations. Now and then you hear that they've conducting an airstrike and so on. But this is the kind of attacks that we've seen over the last few months. In March this year, there was an attack carried out by one of these jihadi groups linked to Al-Qaeda on a restaurant on a busy Saturday night in a busy neighborhood of the capital city, Bamako. There were 5 people who got killed that night, including 2 or 3 rather Europeans, and that was claimed by the group of Mokhtar Belmokhtar, and a former well-known Al-Qaeda Islamist militant. So this is exactly the way that they can strike. They have reminded the public that they were able to strike, and the question, I guess, was not if it was going to happen again. Diplomats were saying that it was more a question of when, and we're seeing that it's happening again this morning.